Yeah.
just social, political
Mhm.
things they're doing to women, etc.
Mhm.
That we've gotten really comfortable allowing a lot of it to slide for fear of being seen as a hater. And at a certain point, we might need to be like, no, actually, yeah, I am hating because this
Yeah.
is hateful behavior,
Yeah.
and we have to stop giving it passes.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of MSR. I'm your host, Adam Butler, rolling solo today. Paul Span will be back next week. Nargis will be on the show on Friday. I think Brother Smooth will be on the show on Friday as well. But you got me today, and I have a special guest and co-host, the legendary and the incredible FD Signifier is on the show today. Yes, we're going to talk about a lot. Okay, he joined me for the entire show. I joked later on that he was my co-host for the day, so I really appreciate him, man. So we're going to jump right into it. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I'm just going to get through the stuff real quick, okay? If you are not following us, go ahead and do that. Follow us on Instagram, MSR Tribe, okay? MSR Tribe on Instagram, Mindstream Radio on Facebook, MSR Tribe on Threads. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment on the video, do all of that stuff. It helps the algorithm and helps us out. Thank you so much. We are on all podcasting platforms if you did not know. So go ahead, Apple, Spotify, all of it. Rate and review the show, subscribe to the podcast, all of that stuff. Do all the stuff you need to do. You know what it is, man. Support the show like you always been doing. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to jump right into it because there's a lot of show today, and the great FD had a lot to say. So without further ado, FD Signifier after this break. FD Signifier is in the building, man. What's happening, sir?
Chilling, man. I'm in the what's the word? Not deflation. Decompression. I'm in the decompression stage after a major project.
Yeah.
So I sat around all day today. I was supposed to go to the gym. That did not happen. My wife went out with one of her girlfriends. I was like, great. All y'all get out. I'm going to lay here.
Yeah.
I'm not moving from this spot.
Yeah. That's funny.
Excuse me.
So the Tyler Perry videos, which you referred to, huge deal. A lot of people waiting for this video. It was super dope, man. I was really impressed with that. 4 hours long. I'm gonna tell you this, and I know that's been like a running joke, but that thing was perfect because I'm a producer by trade. So like I work on productions all day at work for my 9-to-5 job. And a lot of times with production is hurry up and wait. So a good podcast or a good video was like perfect for me. I actually got through like 3 hours of that just sitting at work. I bullshit you not. So, and I watched the rest of it when I got home. Really impressive, man. Talk to me about just like, we were talking off air a little bit about it, and people that are familiar with, but for the people that aren't familiar, what was the genesis of the infamous Tyler Perry video?
Infamous indeed.
Mm-hmm.
What's really wild is that I was one of the first Tyler Perry haters, like in the world. Like before, I remembered, you know what made me give up on hating on Tyler Perry on some true, obnoxious nigga type shit is when the Boondocks episode came out. Because I had been saying all of these things. I really actually, to give myself a little credit, I didn't focus too much on his sexuality, but I had been making fun of all of those tropes for years at that point. Yeah. And when the episode came out, it kind of took the air out my sails because I was like, now people gonna think I got this shit from Boondocks.
Yeah.
But you go back years before Boondocks, people that know me know I was an adamant Tyler Perry hater. I was one of I was off the train pretty early because I think we all gave him a lot of grace early on. And, after that, I just kind of kept it to myself, kind of like I said in the video.
Yeah.
And so the YouTube career starts. It's very much a capricious thing. Like I didn't plan, for years to be a YouTuber. I started playing around on YouTube and then realized there was an opportunity and was lucky enough to be able to fulfill that. And immediately I knew that was like, what's funny is that was going to be probably like my third or fourth video.
Okay.
Like, I had started a script on Tyler Perry. There's an old script. I can't find it now. It's probably on like an old laptop. And it had gotten to like 3,000 words. This old script way back. This must have been 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I shelved it. I'm not sure why. But as like I started getting motion, just randomly fucking around on Twitter, I said, fuck it, Tyler Perry video at 500 subscribers, right?
Yeah.
And 500,000, I should say. And then people screenshotted that, like, we gonna hold you to this.
Right.
And I didn't think that hard about it.
Yeah.
And then my wife, who is the wisdom in the household, she was like, you sure you want to do that? Like you have, you know, because I do have aspirations for other forms of media, and I'm in Atlanta, and you know, it's Tyler Perry's name rings bells around here. I know I have friends and peers that have worked with him. And so I was like, oh, you're right. Maybe at 1 million. And that was me not thinking that I would ever really hit 1 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then at a certain point, I was like, oh shit, I'm really gonna hit 1 million.
Yeah.
So I gotta like keep this, you know, I gotta keep this prepared. And then like the audience, my like hardcore audience, was letting me know every couple of 100 video subscribers, like, hey, Tyler Perry video coming up soon.
Yeah. Yep. I peeped it.
I hit 1 mil last year, and then it was on my ass. Like, all right, where's that?
Yeah.
Where's that? And I think I came up with like 5 videos before this after hitting 1 million.
Every time.
It wasn't done.
Yeah.
You know, I had to make sure it was satisfactory. And I'm really, really happy that people are receiving it the way they are.
For sure. You know, it's funny you mentioned like giving him grace. And I don't. We did a show recently. We talked about like we did like a countdown of like Black love stories for Valentine's, like a Valentine's special. And then we kind of, I'm like really interested in like this little pocket history of like Black film, starting from like maybe like Boyz in the Hood to where we are now, right? And I think about movies like Love Jones and Love and Basketball and The Wood and all these movies that it's like so important to like Black people and Black culture. But if you went down the street and asked a white person, have they seen The Wood, they wouldn't even know what it was, right? And I think that's fascinating. And we were trying to find like a landmark of like when that ended. And I think it was the Tyler Perry era, right? And our co-host Nargis was like, do you count those movies like in that pantheon of like great films? I was like, no. Actually, I think it ruined, nothing can ruin Black film, but I think you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it ruined that little era of like dope Black love stories and coming of age stories that were really sincere and really authentic. So I think I'm with you. Like, I don't think I ever gave Tyler Perry grace. And I think we're about the same age. And you mentioned this in the essay. I remember the stage plays. I remember my aunties and all the older ladies in the block going to the stage plays, and I thought they were silly then. I didn't like the plays. So when the movies came out, I never was feeling the Tyler Perry thing, but I always felt like a hater. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's such an interesting dynamic. I was talking to another podcaster just yesterday, and he was talking about the threat of being seen as a hater has got a lot of us in a chokehold because it's a lot of fuck shit going on. Like when you look at a Diddy, right? Not to take it too left right now.
No, let's go.
But like, you know that was something that don't be a hater was definitely something that was weaponized against a Diddy, against the Russell Simmons, possibly against the Tyler Perry, considering some of the accusations. Yeah. And that's like the most severe things, but it's also like, you know, what Nicki Minaj is doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for those who saw those types of moves coming, what Snoop Dogg did after the election. You know, there's a lot of hip hop has a lot of, for lack of a way of putting it, misbehavior.
Agree.
It's just social, political things they're doing to women, etc. That we've gotten really comfortable allowing a lot of it to slide for fear of being seen as a hater. And at a certain point, we might need to be like, no, actually, I am hating because this is hateful behavior. Yeah. And we have to stop giving it passes. Yeah.
I think at the time it was like, because I'm big on supporting Black men and you know, I saw you on the Jam Pod, and you kind of talked about how like you wanted to have like when you first started, you really wanted to be like representative of like black male and black male culture, and I feel that way too about this show. You know, we try to represent a different view of black men. And so I say that to say that's been our mentality for a very long time, right? And when Tyler Perry first came around, I think a lot of people were just happy to see a black man doing his thing, just thriving. You know what I mean? We didn't want to get into the mud on like whether he was a good guy or not. I think that goes for Diddy. You know, with Diddy, again, someone our age, I remember Diddy hanging, you know, beating up record executives, and there's a lot of the trauma we heard about was things he did to men, beating up men, you know, snaking people out of their money. I remember the last time we throw a refrigerator at you, all of that stuff. And I think that it went from not wanting to hate, like you mentioned, to now this person's a cultural icon, and I don't want to be one of the few people that's trying to bring down a cultural icon. But the danger is that's how you get an R. Kelly. Yeah, you protect someone like that. You know what I mean? Because you're so
that's how Harvey Weinstein did his dirt.
Yes, yes.
That it's those types of people that are truly dangerous in that regard because they're uniquely driven in sick ways.
Yeah.
And that drive leads them to so much power that the sickness then becomes untouchable, you know? And even, you know, people, you know, it's funny because certain folks they like to deflect a lot, but like Weinstein got more time than Diddy. Diddy gonna be out in what, a couple
like
years?
2 years. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, you know, not to say I don't want to get into the equivocation, but it's just something to think about in terms of like power and influence and like timing of some of these folks. So bringing it back to Perry,
right?
I do want to bring it back. So you said something that was interesting about like the disappearance of a certain type of black film in the theaters specifically. Yeah. And I remember that. Like I remember in college. So we talking about the early 2000s for me.
Yeah.
I remembered seeing it was Common and Queen Latifah in one of them.
Not to play that game. That's the Vivica Fox. I know you're talking about he was the shortest New Jersey net ever. Yeah.
I remember that. And I remember Two Can Play that game. And I remember, you know, even though I never liked that one.
Me neither. I hate that movie. My wife likes that movie. I
could not stand it. Movie, I was like, bro. I cannot believe. Anyway. But I still remember that being date night. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I vividly remember going to see Diary of a Mad Black Woman and being like, okay.
Yeah.
And then like, it felt like over time, all that disappeared. Now, that's not all his fault because the nature of our media can the consumption, like this, a lot of those movies are gone now. They're all going straight to streaming now. But even on streaming, it feels like none of them can get the attention that Perry gets. There's so many of these types of movies now on streaming. There's so many black romance stories, black dramas, black whatever on streaming. But the number one thing is Joe Goes to College or whatever.
Yeah.
Not just for black people, but for Netflix, period, this weekend.
Yes. I think about how this is, you know, maybe 10 plus years ago now because they just did the series. But I think about how when Best Man Holiday was about to come out and them going around telling the story about how they had to go into an actual studio, into a studio head's office and actually like audition the movie. And this was a successful movie for black folks, at least in the 90s, and how they had to go through all of that. And while that was happening, a guy like Tyler Perry is around who could just finance that film. You know what I mean? And so, it really did drown out. You're right. There's different reasons for the DVD boom happened in the 2000s. So a lot of the Twa and all that stuff started coming out like straight to DVD. It wasn't no reason to
like
go to
seven
9 and and so some of it is just outside of Tyler Perry. But I think like the mid 2000s when Tyler Perry really blew up, it was like the black love stories had this like religious undertone. So it was like Tyler Perry movies. It was T.D. Jakes films. It was the Steve Harvey films, which kind of had like this think like a man. Here's how a woman can protect her you know, her flower.
Don't be a sport fish.
Yes. You know what I mean? And I didn't like any of those films at all. And I just thought that they were dangerous. And that's one thing I did appreciate about, well, I appreciated many things about the essay, but one thing I really did appreciate is that how the media, because we can focus on the man, and we can in this conversation. I want people to go watch your essay, so I don't want to
give too much away,
give everything away. But I think that when you really talked about how the media, the actual films are harmful, because I think a lot of times people just kind of look at the films and go, well, they're just silly little films, whatever. There's no harm, but there is a lot of harm in those films,
Yeah, it's, a thing I've been, a take I've been like workshopping is like ending it's not that deep response. I actually just I got a pod with Deontay Kyle coming out maybe this week.
Deontay Kyle. Yeah.
He said something in the pod. He was like, nobody should ever say you thinking too hard. Like that should never be a valid response to anything. You know what I'm saying? You're overthinking.
Yeah.
And that's real.
Yeah.
You can tell someone they're wrong, that their analysis is incorrect,
right,
or that their analysis is not useful in some form or fashion. But that's hard for some folks. So some folks don't like to have their art consumption or their media consumption critiqued. That's why when you make a video, a question I get a lot, the reason why I'm developing this, like trying to develop this take on it, is because for a while now I've been getting random comments saying, well, what do you like? And I'll be like, I like the thing you just watched the video about. Like I just told you how much I liked it. And then I also told you the bad things and the things that I'm critical of. And I don't understand why you can't engage with both of those things at the same time, but people can't. And so I say all that to say, the harm of a Tyler Perry movie and like the way his films have kind of always been is that they just rely on, minstrelsy, stereotypes, feeding bad behavior back to his audience, you know what I'm saying, giving them the worst possible answers to the questions that they're seeking out.
Right.
And just, I had one more nugget there and I can't remember what it was. You kind of get my point. Like,
I get your point. Yeah.
It's not a benign thing. Like our media affects the way we perceive the world. It may not change your behavior outright. You're not going to go throw a baby out the window because you saw Michael Ealy do it in a Tyler Perry movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the consumption of those images affects your perception of self, affects the perception you have of the world, and the world back on you, to the point where Sanaa Lathan did that bald-headed romance movie a little while ago.
Right, yes.
And it wasn't too bad. But nobody watched it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that one may have gotten a little love.
But I know what you're saying. It's not on the level of the thing that Kelly Rowland just did with Tyler Perry or the Taraji,
which was awful.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You said a couple of things there that I find. So I want to go back to the Deontay Kyle point, which I agree with, right? But I struggle with it, though I agree with it, because on one hand, I don't think you disagree with this. There's nothing wrong with like watching a movie that doesn't have a lot of depth to it, right? Whether it be whatever kind of movie, Transformers, certain Marvel movies, whatever, right? We can love these things. And every now and then you get like something like Black Panther, and every now and then you just get like silly, just bombs off, just crazy, whatever movie, right? And I think those things are important, especially in the climate we live in, where there is a lot of trauma and stress happening on a daily basis. But I think that you can't fall into the trap of turning your brain off and not paying attention, especially to what you're consuming. And I think that's the balancing act. So sometimes people that call out or critique things come off as
haters,
right? Come off as haters because you're like, I just wanted to watch this movie about Kelly Rowland and the dude from whatever that show is, and they getting freaky and whatever. Cool, but also ask yourself, why does one person How does one person dominate an industry? Two networks, basically, Netflix and BET.
Mm-hmm.
Only his mind and only what he believes in is being force-fed to you. I'm not trying to paint a conspiracy here. I'm just saying that's interesting to me. You know?
Yeah. And it's even beyond so I would say you can turn your brain off if you want, as long as you have the capacity to turn it back on when you need to.
Yeah.
And the problem is Perry relies on people not being able to do that.
Right.
And so much of our modern media apparatus, that is what they're doing. It's people who are far too comfortable and really defensive of turning their brains off. They want to turn their brain off and for you not to notice that and not to speak on it and for them not to be required to reverse that. Yeah. And if you try, if you point out the thing, so like I maybe don't, I don't need people to tell me wrestling is fake.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of the most annoying things that people ever do is say, it's not real. And it's like, it's 2026.
Yeah.
I'm 43 years old.
Documentaries literally about, Triple H has a documentary on Netflix literally showing you how they make the.
Yeah. It's like, I don't need you to tell me that wrestling's not real. Right. But that's still, but even that is different than it's not that deep. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when you have a Tyler Perry, so one thing I'm really happy about with the video, slightly switching gears.
Sure.
Is my audience is not, I say, normie friendly. So like I get accusations from, critics, I'll just say that my audience is either all white or all black women. And I constantly show, first off, my audience is like 70% male. Across all my channels, it's about 70% male. And the race of the audience depends on the video. I did a video about anime a couple of years ago, probably half and half, maybe even 75-25 white.
Right.
I did a video, that Charlie Kirk video I did a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
That's probably half and half at best, white and black, because that was for them. That was that I wanted them to come and look at what I had to say. You know what I'm saying? But other videos, my Sinners video, the Black Villains video, etc.
Yeah.
That's black folks, but it is black folks of a certain disposition. We're talking about people who are creatively inclined, alternative, belief and lifestyle inclined, not like specifically in terms of like sexuality, just sexuality, but like people that are involved in, like I'm a big nerd. Yeah. Right. So that comes through in my videos. If you you can see the references, right?
Right.
And then of course the politically inclined.
Right. Right.
And so what I'm so happy about with this video is this is bringing in so many just regular black folks that never heard of me and never even imagined that I could exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're not saying it. Some of them are saying it's not that deep. Why are you making a 4-hour video, et cetera, et cetera? But most of them are saying, I can't believe I watched a 4-hour video.
Right.
I can't believe I watched this whole thing in one sitting. Where have you, what else you got?
Yeah.
And so I say that to try to bring it back to the original element. Yeah. Is Perry relies on the opposite. Yeah. Perry relies on his fans and his specific network or empire, almost like cult-like, cutting you off from outside ideas and forms of media, so that you can't tell the difference between chicken salad and chicken shit in his content. Yeah, and I'm happy to have put a dent in that somehow.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing. I'm big into infotainment and edutainment, however you want to coin it. And I think that's important. I love when the medicine is in the applesauce, right? And I think it's a great skill to be able to balance it, not be preachy, be entertaining, but also there's a message in there. I love when the MC could do it. I love when it's in a movie. I love when it's in an essay, right? And I think that's really dope, and I think that's really important because Black media is important, right? And Black faces speaking to all sorts of people is incredibly important. And you know, I think like YouTube and podcasts, you always hear that, you know, too many podcast mics thing, and I think that's real. And it brings me back to when I think about like some months ago, it was like the Joe Budden pod versus the Native Land pod. I was trying to remember the name of it. Shout out to
I
Picard
commented on that. Yeah.
Yeah. And right. And a lot of us did. And I think that what came off as ugly, no disrespect to Tiffany, they've been made up and been figured this out, but was like the idea that Mark Lamont Hill would go Schleck with go down in the mud with Queens Flip and Joe and them, and we don't need to talk. And I don't believe that at all. Joe Budden pod is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. You know what I mean? But he was the Native Land pod, and I got a friend that works with the Native Land pod, right? So I get it. Nothing is perfect, but I think we need all of this representation, and we need more Black faces speaking and more, different alternatives. One thing that you said recently that I thought was really cool. You did a quick video on the Rob what's the comic book dude?
Oh, the Comic Explain brother.
Comic Explain and Blur Without Fear thing, right?
Yeah.
And I thought it was and I appreciated it because everybody's giving Rob, and I defended Rob, but everybody's giving Rob a hard time.
He gave him lashes.
Really hard on him. Right. I mean, he called him all sorts, he called him a rocket raccoon, which is hilarious. But I like that you had a measured explanation of it, that he's not right, but here's why he's thinking this way. He's being sincere, but here's why he's wrong. I think we need more of that. And there's laughs and jokes in between, but I appreciate that line of thinking. Do you see the importance of that? Is that something you think about, or you just being your authentic self and just talking?
That's my authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
In that, we all have like our canon events, what I'm saying? Like canon experiences. Yeah. And so for me, it was probably teaching. And teaching made me realize how much of an empath I was. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, first off, that type of language people didn't have, Instagram empath statements or whatever, tests that you could take and shit back in the day. But I did understand as when I was teaching that, man, I'm putting a lot into these kids and I'll get home and I don't have nothing left. And I just want to take a nap, you know what I'm saying, et cetera.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I had to leave teaching, because I realized I couldn't strike a healthy balance. But what I developed while I was there, because my first teaching spot was in a mixed rural school. Okay. It was like 25% white, 25% Black, 25% Hispanic, a handful of Asians. Math that math didn't add up, but you get my point though.
I understand.
It was not like any specific type of school,
right?
And to make it even more interesting, we're in Georgia, right? But like half the Black population is from New York. For some reason, everybody. I guess this is like right when gentrification is really popping off in like Brooklyn and Queens, etc.
Well, so a lot of people moved to Atlanta, so that's like the thing to do. Yeah.
A lot of folks are selling, grandmother's brownstone and buying a 5-bedroom, 4,000 square foot house in the suburbs of Georgia.
Right.
So like a lot of different types of things going on, and so they brought me there because they realized they had this growing Black population and they needed to add more teachers of color to help diffuse that. They didn't do a good job. That's a whole other story, but still that was what was in their heads.
Right.
But what's most challenging to me was I had never shared space with rural, poor white people. Cause this wasn't like this is the suburbs, but it's the suburbs of Georgia, which means that part of the suburbs is like you imagine like upper middle class white kids but the other part is straight trailer parks. This is the middle of the meth, the rise of meth that was happening in the late 2000s. And so I had white kids who were living in apartments with their parents. I mean, not apartments, in hotel rooms with their parents.
Gotcha.
You know, and so I knew white people could be poor, right? But I had never had to engage across such a big social divide, like, for myself.
Yeah.
And the thing I realized immediately, this is a different political climate, so it's probably easier, right?
Okay.
But I still realized immediately, wait, these kids are exactly the same. Daquan from the SWATs that is over here in the suburbs, because they tore his apartments down in the southwest side of Atlanta, is just as he has most of the same challenges as, you know, Kerry, whose mom is half crazy, his dad is on meth, and they live in a hotel room. Yeah. It's the same set of problems. Yeah. And that forced me to develop as an empath, right? It forced me to develop a different ethos in terms of, like, if I'm really about helping this child in front of me, this person in front of me, I need not be comfortable with the easiest explanation for the dysfunction that's in front of me. Does that make sense?
It does.
Because for boys in general, but especially for black boys, you get a problematic black boy in front of you. What is it? He's bad. Yep. He's thug, super predator, all those things. Yep. And you hear that enough. Yeah. I'll be that. Yeah. And so, like, I challenge myself to be like, okay, how do I, engage here? Yeah. And extrapolate that, going like that stay with me throughout my life. Since the young adulthood, when I started that, to now, it's easy, and people are far too comfortable with the simplest answer about conflict and disagreements and ideology and politics, etc. Right. Especially when we get into, like, police and other black folks. We love to burn a coon in effigy. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Yeah. I get it. But I also developed the understanding that, you know what, if Comics Explained joins the right Discord a month from now, he'll be all right in 6 to 18 months. Yeah. He'll be all right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And more importantly, there's a 17-year-old who's on the, he's on the edge. Yep. That's watching us get his boy lashes. Yep. And it's feeling away. Yep. Because I love Rob. Yeah. And so we do need it to be known that there is empathy and development. You know what I'm saying? There's ways you don't have to be defined by your worst moment, your worst take. And especially when it comes to black culture and like black communities, unless you're, a super predator, like a real one, like Diddy. Right. There has to be an understanding that there's ways back home. Yeah. And that was really why I wanted to have that level of empathy as we were giving him his lashes, because he'll be off the cycle in a week, it'll be all over. And maybe he'll reach out to insert person here and have an emergent experience, Yeah.
That's such a great point, because I've never been big on, like, scolding black folks, right? That whole we got to do better thing, and it's always us, and we're always the worst of the worst. We spend the most money, we watch the most this, we do everything bad in America. We apparently do the most of it,
and we're so comfortable in that falsehood.
Yeah,
we just repeat that shit ad nauseum, and it's so untrue, but, like,
we just believe it about ourselves. And so, as much, and I love Blur Without Fear, I watch his stuff, and this is, if I knew him, I would say, you got your shit off, you got and you got a round of applause, and you were reading him for filth and all of that, all those things. But did he learn from you? Did you? No, I doubt it. You told him about himself, and if anything, you can't really, I'm not going to say you pushed him further to the other side. He can only take himself there, but there's no food in it. There's no food in it. We just know y'all beefing. And again, it's between them. It's all good. The show isn't about that. But I like the idea of having empathy for black folks until you have shown me I don't need to have empathy for you. You're harming us, Diddy, whoever, and insert this person here. You are harmful. And it goes back to the earlier point about, don't ever say something is too deep. Like, we can have a conversation about it. So the conversation about this person A being a large figure in media and showcasing black media or discussing black ideas is important. But how can I get you to do that without being harmful to you? How can I get you to do the thing that I want you, that clearly they want to happen, which is speak more about black media, showcase more black folks? How can we do that without insulting you? Because that's one way to make it it will never happen.
Honey versus vinegar.
Yeah.
And part of it is selfish. One, I want to be less likely to get retaliated against, just to keep it a buck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could have put the ether beat on the whole time.
Yeah.
I could have made it 30 minutes of just pure read, right?
Yeah.
And it would have been a shorter video. It would have been cheaper to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Etc. But I also know that like, if Tyler would have come after me, like right now I'm not making no money on the video because of copyright shit on YouTube. I'm pretty sure that I'm 99% sure it'll get cleared up.
Yeah.
But they keep coming. Like, literally, this is my third copyright issue with the video since I released it, which is different.
You think that's them?
Well, so nothing has been related to Tyler Perry.
Okay.
It was Sony, and then Sony again, and then MGM.
Yeah.
It was for like two songs. The second part was a Boondocks song, and it was so it's part of me is questioning, but nothing directly connected to Tyler Perry has been flagged yet. The entire time, even when I was like you got to go through a process of uploading it in pieces to see what gets flagged, and at no point in time did anything from Tyler Perry get flagged.
Okay.
So fingers crossed on that, right?
Yep.
But that also I said to say, if I'm like extra ugly with it, and he comes after me, I kind of like, it's not a lot. I'll defend myself whatever I can, but it's not the court of public opinion is gonna see me reading the man from filth and be like, why? I don't care.
Right.
But if you see it as, if I create a work of like mature, measured film critique, film criticism, where I give flowers as I give criticism, if he jumps out of off the window on that, then that looks a different way, and it gives me more cachet to defend myself. So there's number one is just self-preservation. Right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But number two is, again, coming back to the normies. I just saw TikTok. Whenever I release a video, I'm always scouring. Like, I don't Google myself all the time, but I ain't go front. When I release something,
you want to know.
I'm Googling myself all the time, like trying to see what people are saying, like, looking for criticism, looking for feedback.
Right.
And I've never had anything go off like this on TikTok, because it's not going off for real, but it's like a lot more TikToks than I'm used to getting.
Right.
And part of that is because people, again, that more normie audience finds it accessible. And there's one TikTok I just watched tonight. This girl says something along the lines of, I felt some dark energy. Okay. Right? And whenever I hear that, I'm like, oh, Lord. Here we go.
What? Right. Yeah.
Like, we got that vacuous dark energy. But even after saying that, she praised the video. You know what I'm saying? She just didn't finish it, and even in the comment section, it was like a short discussion about the quality of the video. So that's a person that I imagine, if they watch my other stuff, would not like me, right? Right. That we probably are not equally yoked, or whatever the term is, to try to get back into the biblicalness of it all.
To the Tyler Perry, yeah.
But by having a measured, thoughtful response, especially, last thing, I know I'm rambling.
No, please, you're good. It's a podcast, brother. We good.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the whole internet is too reactionary.
Yeah.
is too reactionary.
Yeah.
Everybody trying to get their hot takes off. Everybody is exposing another person for the worst person ever because of this, that, and the third.
Right.
You know, just a lot of just all that nonsense. And you can build a platform off that.
Yes, you can.
But you better just yourself be a sociopath.
Yeah.
Because at some point you're going to mess up.
Yeah.
And that audience you brought to you to watch you eat somebody else up is going to just as quickly eat you up.
Yeah.
And so I've always purposely tried to avoid attracting that type. Well, not always, but for a long time, I've tried to avoid attracting that type of energy and those types of like views, because I want to be able to make complex, thoughtful content. And I want people that are interested in that. I don't want you to like me because I talk bad about the Black Manosphere. I got a video coming out tomorrow talking bad about the Black Manosphere. It's the first one I've made in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Just because they clearly, you know, this every once in a while you got to pop out and show them, you know what up.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going to make that all my content, you know, because that's so limiting just artistically, but it also breeds the worst type of following and just puts the worst type of energy back into the world from my perspective.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting you say that, because, you know, I just think about content creation in itself, and you probably don't know this, but this show, this is a reboot of an older show that we used to do. So we ended the show in 2018. We were on from 2008 to 2018, and we were.
Oh wow, y'all some of the OGs of
it. Man, it was called online radio when we started, brother.
Was it Black Guy Who Tips?
Man, Combat Jack was around when we were starting. And to be honest with you, bro, like when we really first started, 2008, honestly, is not the year we started. Really started in 06 on Blog Talk Radio. It really wasn't podcasts. It was really just like reruns of radio shows. We were really modeling ourselves after like our radio show. You know what I mean? And it was like pirate radio in a way. But I say all that to say, you know, we've been very political times. We've been, you know, anti-manosphere times. We've been all of that. And when we came back, because we'd been off for so many years, we were really trying to find our footing again. And I was telling my Paul, who hopefully you'll get to meet one day. That's my brother and co-host. I was telling him that we came back at an odd time, because we came back when the manosphere stuff is like really like nasty and toxic and it impacted an election and everything, and the Trump stuff and all that. And I found that we were talking about that all of the time. Like we were constantly, every episode was Trump this, Trump that, Black Manosphere this, Manosphere that. And it's cool to tackle that, but you got to find that balance, because people do need a break from it. And I think that, to what you mentioned earlier, is like the comment section was getting disgusting and nasty, because we were coming off as like trolls almost, even though we weren't trying to. Like, you know,
it's hard not to troll the Black Manosphere.
It's incredibly. And I don't care about, and to be honest with you, you know, in our bio, I just changed it, but it used to be in our bio used to say, here to destroy the red pill, right? Because I'm big on that. I do believe that needs to be destroyed. You know what I mean? And I, you know, in your Jam podcast, I heard you talk about like the late Kevin Samuels and how you saw brothers in your age group and mine too transforming into that. And that's a wild thing to see, a 40-year-old dude transforming into like this. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
What are you
go pick up your
about?
Kids?
Yeah, right. You're married, guys. What are you talking? But the thing is, I think that there's other ways to dismantle it, and a lot of the ways to dismantle it is by going at it straight up, for sure, but also providing a different image. You know, and so you read people for filth every now and then, but most of the time, what you're doing is going, let me break this down in a way that's calm and thought out, and let me help you really, because not everything is a manosphere issue. Not everything is a toxic Black folks issue. Sometimes it is just a misunderstanding or misguidedness, and we need to be able to calmly talk about those things while understanding this dude needs to we need to trash this and get rid of this quick. Yeah.
You make a really important point that people, because you know, part of my formal education is directly connected to like Manosphere stuff. My sociology degree is gender and health was my main focus.
Yeah.
And I did my master's thesis on spree shooters. And there's a strong correlation between what we now call the red pill. It wasn't called that when I first was working on it. And like spree shooters. Like there's actually a large representation of the general red pill world in that population. Fuck, I forgot where I was going with this.
It's all good.
We getting close to pumpkin times.
Yeah, I know, right?
So in that research though, and I've stayed within, especially since I started making content about it.
Yeah.
One of the things that people don't appreciate, and that's easy to miss if you're just clowning them, because again, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
They make for good. You know, the only reason I'm as good as I am at writing and like lines of argumentation was because I was a Facebook debate type nigga. You know what I'm saying? I had cousins that believed the earth was flat, and I was good for arguing with them niggas for 48 hours across across 500 comments in the Facebook Facebook posts. You know what I'm saying? So like, because there's a certain type of dude that you enjoy that type of pugilism.
Hell yeah.
And so, but if you're but to bring it back to your point, you made a really important point. To actually help with the problem though.
Right.
It's a community issue.
Yeah.
And these men need to be able to see and engage with spaces where they can unpack the shit where all of us as Black men are carrying. They can process that. They can feel affirmed. They can feel camaraderie. And they can, you know, and they can do that without hyper focusing on whatever issues they got with women, whatever issues they got with their mom, with their baby mom, with their ex. And the thing that the Manosphere does do that we have to contend with more effectively is that they are very, well, not cohesive. What's the word? Dedicated community. I always joke, I made the same joke on Deontay Kyle's podcast. This dude one of these dudes has made multiple videos about me, 76 years old.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
76 years old. And like and this is why he get in trouble. This is why he get in trouble.
Oh my God. Oh, yo. What?
76 years old. So it's like, so it's like, damn, damn OG.
Yeah.
You ain't got no bingo hall. Like,
hey, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Yeah.
Old people be lonely. You know what I'm saying? So where are his grandkids? What's going on there? Where is the lady that he probably should have married or whatever? Like, not to get into people's business, but you gotta get my point. Like, life be lifing.
Yeah.
And it's a struggle with brothers sometimes. And so like, I'm not ain't nothing you gonna say to a 76-year-old Black Manosphere figure to get him out of that.
Yeah, he in it. It's 10 toes.
He's 10 toes down.
Yeah.
But if we build this other more beautiful thing amongst Black men. If, you know, the thing that I'm most proud of is my Black male audience, is that when I'm out the house in Atlanta, so it ain't too hard, right? But when I'm out the house, 7 out of 10 people that recognize me are other Black men.
That's dope.
Right? Yeah. And like and a lot of them are younger than me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so like, that's dope. That's beautiful. And that's really what we got to be on. We got to be on building and, you know, nurturing those alternative spaces, so that the Manosphere shrinks in comparison, and then they only get the weirdest, worst people. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then we can just ignore them.
Yes, 100%. And I think we're on our way. You know, you mentioned like Deontay Kyle, you mentioned the brothers from Jam. There's a lot of like dope. You know, there's a lot of
even the Button podcast has done a significant evolution.
Yeah. Yes. I tell people that all the time. Yeah.
I Show Speed. Are you
Yeah.
familiar with him?
I am. I got a son. I got an 11-year-old. So
right. Yeah. Like, I'm looking at his evolution because he was on some kind of edgy red pill adjacent shit. But he was also like 17 on the internet.
Right.
And now he's international man of mystery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like, how can you compete with misogyny? How can misogyny compete to
that?
I Show Speed going to Africa and spending time with the motherland? You can't.
Yeah.
And so, it'd be beautiful if everybody was more connective and cohesive and on one code, when I get into all my real radical shit. But I ain't like the revolution. Let me measure myself before I get in trouble.
You're good.
The power of the people is communal. Well, that's what that means. You know what I'm saying? And it don't mean that everybody, like, you don't need a large body, like, who was it, George Jackson? I'm about to fuck up some, hopefully none of the radicals watch this, because they be on my ass when I fuck up the deep lore. I think it was George Jackson that pointed out that you don't need everybody to have a revolution. You just need really dedicated people.
Yeah.
And when we have this many more healthy, like, on code, fully human Black men that like are defying society's image of who they're supposed to be, then you're going to have people ready to do work, whatever that work may be, in terms of liberation. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more. I promise you, that's the way to go about it. It's baby steps, right? It's just planting seeds. One thing I think when I think about my son, I just want him to be a confident man. It's not about dominating women. Should not revolve around women. All that'll come. You know what I mean? It's just about being a confident Black man. If you into anime, if you into sports, if you into books, if you're into whatever it may be, I don't care. I just want you to be confident in it, and I want you to have principles, and we got to define what those principles are, and we have to talk amongst ourselves. I've said this a billion times. I admire Black women for creating spaces for each other where they have, just summits they go to when they ain't even thinking about men. It ain't got nothing to do with men. It's just
Essence Fest. Niggas just started going to Essence Fest.
Okay.
I didn't know what Essence Fest was for years.
Man,
my wife from New Orleans, he's like, Essence Fest. I'm like, what?
Word. Okay.
Y'all have a whole festival
just for them, and even in smaller spaces. My wife and the moms in the neighborhood, they have mommy's night out and wind down Wednesdays, and they just sit there and they just talk,
sip and paint,
all these things. And I just, I want men to have things that are similar to that, on small scale and on a large scale. Us as content creators, this is we can lead that charge in certain ways. You had that thing, and I won't hold you too much longer, but they had that thing recently, the sisters table thing, that they would Clifton Power and off. I did a whole show on that one.
I didn't watch it, so I know Conscious, and for the most part, I never have issues with Conscious for the most part. I don't think we always align, but like he's a great representative, tends to be. But when I saw just the clips, I was like, that's enough for me.
Yeah. And to Conscious credit, I don't know him, but to his credit, I follow him, but see his stuff. To his credit, he was trying to keep everything in line. The problem was that they tried to talk about everything, and it was all centered around loving a Black woman, which on paper is nothing wrong with that, but they weren't talking about men's issues. So
that's a setup. That's like it gave Jubilee vibes.
Yes.
It gave Jubilee vibes.
Yes. It's not
like Conscious is an excellent debater.
Yeah.
He's got this amazing ability to, like, there's such a rhythm to his, like, language. And like I'll be listening to Conscious like this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'll be thinking he about to I'll be thinking he about to get out the rhyme pocket, and then he'll be right back in it, and it'll still be real shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I also know that for me, that type of environment, that Jubilee energy, I just can't. when folks start yelling, and I don't know who was really responsible for different yelling interactions, etc.
Right.
But, you know, these conversations shouldn't be content. If
That's
you
what I'm
can't,
trying to say.
yeah, everything
Right.
can't be content. If you can't have,
Yeah.
like, you can host that conversation and have it be a private conversation that
Yep.
goes to a mailing list or,
Yep.
you know, something, because when you put it on this,
Yeah.
right, when this becomes the home of that,
Mm-hmm.
it corrupts everything. The medium won't allow for measure. We do need to have conversations around Black women and Black men's issues that aren't 50-50 dating. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we have real conversations around that.
Yeah.
Pop but
balloon.
Like but it can't be edited into a short.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
like, think about how corrupt that,
right.
and how innately corrupting that is. That there are serious, emotional, difficult conversations happening between Black men about Black women, or even with Black men, whatever the topic is, whatever it might have been.
Right.
To say that you're gonna make it into a short for consumption.
Yeah.
We right back at Tyler Perry.
We right back. Because all it did is make Cliff the Powell look bad, and again, so, you know, not to critique them too much, but just my final point on this would be, if you are going to create content with it, you have to be very intentional about what we are talking about. And here's what we're trying to solve on this particular. You break that up into 5 different episodes or something like that. But I agree with you that everything doesn't need to be content. We can't be doing it to show off necessarily. We got to be doing it to heal and give that food to people we care about. You know what I mean? So I think we're well on the way to that. And I think I'm proud to see people like you, people like Conscious, people like Deontay, people like the brothers from the Jam Pod, you know.
I love that the Jam has had me, Deontay, and Conscious in the last year.
Yeah, and I love that they're young.
Yeah, and they are. They're young.
Yeah.
They're fly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I walk, it's so funny. I didn't know they did like the fit check at the beginning.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Yeah. And I was so happy I wore a jersey.
Yeah.
Because my fit was, I walked in, these dudes got like, they are dripped up, as the kids say. I don't know if the kids say dripped anymore.
Yes, dripped is the term.
They had that shit on. A man had like, you know, glitter pants and stuff. I'm like, man, these little boys is fly. I couldn't have hung with these boys when I was their age.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have let me sit. They wouldn't have let me sit with them.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was happy I had the jersey on, because it meant that I didn't have to like sit in that energy. I fit in, thankfully.
Yeah.
But like, so other dudes will see that.
Yes. Yeah.
And them boys don't have to do alpha male speeches in the middle of their podcast.
They don't.
They don't got to disrespect women in the middle of their podcast. They don't got to put their women on camera. You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
It's just like cool.
Like cool dudes been since the beginning of cool, bruh.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it. It's easy.
Even it's so funny how, we'll leave it alone.
Okay. Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah, man. No, man. But we didn't hit that hour. So we're going to get ready to wrap up. But I just wanted, before I let you go, I did want to say that again, the video. So first off, bro, thank you for doing this. You were my co-host today, man. So I really appreciate you, bro. Real talk. Like,
definitely,
I really appreciate you.
Because I know we had talked a minute ago.
Yeah.
And like, I was in the middle of, first off, the way my brain works, I can only do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do 10 things.
Right.
But 9 of them things is ass, including communication and planning.
Yeah.
And so I know I had like fell off with y'all before, because I was like in like literally, I did the Sinners video, the Black Villains video. I was working on Sinners, Black Villains, and this at the same time, starting in like
Charlie Kirk joint was about to come out too, I think.
Well, that's the thing. I stopped this.
Oh, okay.
So I finished. I was Sinners, Black Villains in this starting in like September or August-ish.
Right.
And I was like, because Tyler Perry was supposed to come out after Sinners. That's why Sinners ended on that like kind of cliffhanger.
I got you.
Okay. And then I just knew I wasn't ready. Like it just wasn't done.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know, something about Charlie Kirk just popped in my head because that had happened months before and I didn't care.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, I got a spark of inspiration that this Sunday was the most important thing ever. So I dropped this completely to do that.
Yeah.
And in the middle, like we're talking, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, oh damn. My bad, y'all.
No, but you know what though? What I appreciate about it, because we, you know, I've never met you before. This is not like, you know, I know you and you were. So you're doing this off the strength of doing it. You know what I mean? And so I really do appreciate that. I appreciate you taking your time.
But part of it is that community thing.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's reminding and illustrating to Black men their own possibilities beyond our popularized image. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Understanding that your experience is a Black men's experience.
Yeah.
In a variety of contexts. Yeah. And so it's important for folks to collaborate with like-minded individuals. When I checked y'all out way back when, I was like, oh, these are definitely folks I know I can have a convo with. Yeah, so we got to make sure that connection is made. And I hope that, you know, that can get to Jam, that can get to Deontay, that can get, you know, I'm trying to see if Mark Lamont Hill can get me on button. I'd be kind of scared.
Don't be scared. You're gonna be straight on it. It's gonna be perfectly fine. I'm looking forward to that one, man. I'm looking forward to that. And Deontay and Jam, I got DMs in your check your DMs because I'd love to have y'all on as well, brother. Hey, listen, man. I hope to do this again. I hope you get to meet the rest of the crew. If you ever in DC, come holler at us. My wife is very familiar with Atlanta. She got family. Her mom is in Atlanta. We in Atlanta a lot. So if we ever in the you know,
most definitely. Just sure. I literally check my Instagram DMs more than my text messages.
Yeah, word.
I don't know what I wasn't dating when text messages were a thing, so I never developed a use for them like my entire life.
Yeah,
my wife don't even text me. She'll Facebook message me before she texts me.
My wife sends me memes all the time. I don't know if yours does that, but my wife, I on my inbox, and I'm full of memes.
We have a regular. We have a multiple times a day TikTok dump session.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
But yeah, man.
Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you for having me.
You have a great night, man.
All right.
Yo, big shout outs to FD, man. Cool dude. I've been really looking forward to having him on the show. I'm glad we were able to get that worked out. As he said, you heard him say we've been working on this for a minute. So very happy to have him on. Hope to have him on again. The brother is super smart and had a lot of dope things to say, man. Just easy conversation. So I hope you all enjoyed it. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show, you all. Thank you so much. We'll be back on Friday. Okay. Got some special stuff to talk about, some cool stuff to talk about with the crew, and the crew will be back on Friday. Paul Span will be back next week. For all my Paul Span fans out there, he's back next week. All right. Follow us, MSR Tribe, MSR Tribe, Manosphere Radio on Facebook, MSR Tribe on Instagram, MSR Tribe on Threads. Like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, rate and review the show on all podcasting platforms. Thank you so much for all that you do. Appreciate you all. Thank you. Yeah, man, I don't have much more to say. I just really appreciate you all for tuning in. I'll see you on Friday. Until then, remember to be great. I'll say it for P. Elevate us. Free DC as well. All of that stuff. We'll see you on Friday. Peace.